So I was at brunch with my friends last Sunday, and my little sister ordered the $18 avocado toast without even looking at the price. And I'm sitting there with my $12 scrambled eggs thinking, when did she become the person who just orders whatever she wants? And then she casually mentions she's putting $500 a month into her Roth IRA. $500. And I'm like, wait, you're 23. How are you doing this? And she just shrugs and goes, I started when I got the job. Like it was obvious, like everyone does that. And I'm sitting there realizing I'm 28. I make more money than she does most months. And I have put exactly $0 into a retirement account this year. 0. So that's what we're talking about. The one money mistake I see women in their 20s making over and over. And honestly, I made it too, so I'm not on some high horse here. I'm just someone who spends way too much time thinking about money now because I screwed this up for years. I'm not a financial advisor, just sharing what I've noticed and what I wish someone had screamed at me when I was 23. Your situation is different than mine, obviously, but this pattern is everywhere, and it's costing us actual years of wealth. The mistake is waiting. Literally just waiting. Waiting until you make more money. Waiting until you pay off your credit cards. Waiting until you feel like you have your life together. Waiting until some magical future moment when investing will feel easier or make more sense. And I get it, because I did this exact thing for like 3 years straight. I kept telling myself, okay, once I get the Amex under $10,000, I'll start investing. Once I hit 6 months of expenses saved, I'll open a Roth. Once I feel financially stable, I'll think about retirement. And you know what happened? Time just kept moving, and I kept not doing it. And now I want to shake past me. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you in a way that makes you actually care. When you're in your 20s, you have the single most valuable asset you will ever have for building wealth. And it is not your salary. It is not your degree. It is not your side hustle. It's time. Literal time. You have 30 or 40 years until retirement, and that timeline is worth more than any amount of money you could put in later because of how compound interest actually works. And I know that sounds boring, but stay with me. Okay, so compound interest. You've heard about it. It sounds like something your dad would explain badly at Thanksgiving. But let me say it in a way that actually makes you feel something. If you put $1,000 into an index fund right now at 25, and you never add another dollar, just let it sit there for 40 years, that $1,000 turns into like $10,000, assuming average market returns. But if you wait 10 years and put in that same $1,000 at 35, it only turns into about $5,000. You literally cut your money in half by waiting. Same $1,000, half the result, just because you waited. That's insane. That made me so mad when I finally understood it. And this is where I messed up for years. I kept thinking I needed to have a lot of money to start investing. Like I needed to show up with $5,000 or $10,000 or some impressive amount that would make me feel like a real investor. Like I needed to earn the right to invest or something. But that's not how this works at all. The 23-year-old putting in $50 a month is going to end up with more money at 60 than the 35-year-old putting in $300 a month. The math is actually wild. The early start beats the bigger contributions almost every single time. And nobody tells you this. So why do we wait? I think it's because investing feels like this thing that rich people do, or people who have their lives together do. It feels like you need to qualify for it somehow, like you need to check all these boxes first. Debt paid off? Check. Emergency fund fully funded? Check. Budget perfectly dialed in? Check. Perfect credit score? Check. And only then are you allowed to think about investing. But that's just not true. And honestly, I think it's keeping a lot of us broke for no reason. Here's what I wish someone had told me at 23. And I mean really told me, not just mentioned it. You can invest while you still have credit card debt. You can invest while you're still figuring out your budget. You can invest with $50 a month or $100 a month or whatever amount doesn't make your life actively harder. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait for some future version of yourself who has more money or more knowledge or more stability or whatever. You just need to start and figure it out as you go. And I know some of you are thinking, okay, but I literally have $18,000 in credit card debt, like you did. How am I supposed to invest when I'm paying $400 a month just to get that number down? And I hear you. I'm still in that. I'm still paying off my Amex from my whole glow-up era, where I was buying clothes I could not afford and taking trips I should not have taken. And honestly, just trying to look like I had money. But here's what I figured out after talking to people who actually know what they're doing. It's not either or. You can pay down debt and invest at the same time. Even if it's just $25 a month into a Roth IRA, that $25 is working for you for the next 40 years. That debt is going to be gone in 2 years, or 3 years, or 5 years. But that investment is compounding the entire time. The way I think about it now is like this, and this helped me actually do it. Paying off debt is cleaning up the past. Investing is building the future. You need to do both at the same time. You can't just focus on cleaning up the past and ignore the future until the past is perfect, because by the time the past is perfect, you've lost years of compounding. And you cannot get those years back, ever. Time is the one thing you cannot buy more of later, no matter how much money you make. So what does starting actually look like? Because I think that's where people get stuck. Open a Roth IRA. Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, whatever. They're all fine. Put in whatever amount you can actually afford without making your life miserable. $50 a month, $75, $100, doesn't matter. Buy a target date fund or a total market index fund. Something boring and diversified that you do not have to think about or manage or stress over. And then just let it sit there. Don't check it every day. Don't panic when the market dips, because it will. Just let it do its thing while you go live your life. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't even know what a Roth IRA is, or what a target date fund is, or how any of this works, that's completely fine. You can learn as you go. I didn't know any of this stuff when I started either. I Googled everything. I watched YouTube videos at like 2 in the morning. I asked what probably seemed like dumb questions in Reddit threads. You don't need to be an expert to start. You just need to start and then figure it out as you go, because that's what everyone does anyway. The women I know who are actually building wealth in their 20s, and I mean real wealth, not just talking about it, are not the ones making the most money. They're the ones who started early, even when they didn't feel ready. They're the ones who put in $100 a month at 23 instead of waiting until they felt like they had permission or enough knowledge or whatever. And now they're 28 with $30,000 in their retirement account, and they're not even trying that hard. It's just been sitting there, growing, while they were living their lives and going to brunch and doing whatever. Though if you take one thing from this and actually do it, take this. Do not wait. Start now. Start small if you have to, but start this week. Because the difference between starting now and starting in 5 years is not just 5 years of contributions. It's decades of compounding. And that compounds on itself. And that's the kind of money that actually changes your life later. That's the difference between retiring at 65 and retiring at 55, or between retiring comfortably and just barely scraping by. And I know retirement feels like a million years away when you're 25, but it's not. And future you is going to be so grateful that you started now, even if it felt small and pointless at the time.